25 years in the making from Bethesda, and almost as many years in speculation from fans, beginning with a simple trademark filing that would lead to years of question, anticipation, and discussions from the community. Ladies and gentlemen, the time is finally almost upon us for Starfield. On June 11th at about 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Todd Howard is going to take the stage for the Starfield Direct event. About 30 minutes of new Starfield gameplay, features, reveals, details, and major announcements, including the possibility of a Starfield companion app, the reveal of the Starfield Collector's Edition, and possibly even the announcement of pre-orders going live during the show. All of the discussions, the speculation, the rumors, leaks, both real and fake, and excitement have all been boiling towards this very moment. How is it going, everybody? My name is DeMarco, and if you're not already excited, then this video can hopefully help as we go over 5 of the most exciting aspects about Starfield. Nothing here will necessarily be new information that hasn't been discussed before, either by myself or some of the other talented Starfield creators that have emerged in anticipation specifically for this game. But this is simply a reminder of the journey that it's been and everything there is to look forward to, a moment of self-reflection before the coming storm. So I hope that you'll join me and leave your own personal reflections of excitement down in the comments below as we get into our first point for today's discussion, arguably the most important for creating an entirely new game in an entirely new world: the passion and inspirations. I firmly believe that there's hardly a thing we cannot accomplish when it's fueled by pure and unapologetic passion. For Bethesda, Starfield, from every angle, appears to be fueled by that very passion. We've heard the comments ages past where Camelworks reported on a developer mentioning how Starfield
is the biggest leap in gaming ever.
We've seen Todd Howard and Pete Hines publicly state
as it's an incredibly ambitious project.
I don't want to overhype it, but I'll just say I think this is going to be one of the truly most special games made of this generation.
But that game is crazy. Like it's ambitious and insane and awesome in all the best possible Bethesda Game Studios ways.
It's the most epic science fiction thing you could possibly imagine.
We've seen Starfield described by Bethesda in a way I can't remember any other project has been. And from what we've already seen of Starfield, so far it explains why. Some of those reasons we're going to dive a bit deeper into within this video. With Bethesda's first new IP in 25 years, it's clear that Starfield is intended to leave a mark not just for Bethesda as yet another accomplishment on an already impressive pedigree consisting of Oblivion, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Morrowind, and Skyrim, but intended to leave a mark in the gaming industry as a whole. The same way we saw Skyrim spread its influence into other games for years to come, Starfield has the opportunity to do the same once more. We've seen this passion evolve and erupt in a number of ways, from attention to detail, where Todd Howard actively got in an argument about the launching of the spaceship during the cinematic trailer.
That when the pilot starts the pre-ignition sequence, he doesn't purge the auxiliary back pressure tanks until after the fuel pump spins up. You can see him throw the switches to engage the EGT and the oil cooler overtip monitors, but no Axe BP tank purge. Took me out of the moment a bit.
Right, but what's even better is Todd's response.
Yeah, good catch, but he actually throws a, quote, flight check override at 120 to cover that, and he puts in prints, yes, for real. So, like...
We thought of that.
His discussions with Elon Musk and visits to SpaceX in order to learn exactly how the mechanics of Starfield should work. Emil Pagliarulo spending a week at an astronomy crash course to improve his writing specifically for Starfield. It's apparent, as well, in the multiple delays that we've received so far, because Bethesda wants to ensure that they take the time necessary to make this game launch in the state it should for fans. Equally as important are the inspirations that Starfield is pulling from. Amazing titles like Faster Than Light, which is incorporated into Starfield's own flight mechanics with the distribution of power. Games like Traveler and Starflight, and even Bethesda's own The 10th Planet, a game that now, in a way, has a chance to live on in a new form entirely. Todd Howard has mentioned on multiple occasions how the next step, the next evolution for Bethesda Game Studios after fantasy and after post-apocalyptic was always going to be space. And now that vision is becoming a reality in the form of Starfield. All fueled by years of passion, ideas, ambition, studio growth, and if that doesn't get you excited, then I'm not sure what else will. This drive for an incredible new experience and all of the ideas that Todd and the team are sitting on have led Bethesda to do a complete overhaul of their engine in order to accomplish what they wanted with Starfield, leading me to the next point for today's video, the Creation Engine 2. For Starfield, Bethesda completely overhauled the Creation Engine, calling it the biggest leap since Morrowind to Oblivion. Fans and players, and possibly even internally, the developers, are most likely going to have mixed feelings as to whether or not the time, the effort, and the energy was worth trying to rebuild the Creation Engine. But we know that Bethesda was determined to get it right, as Todd Howard publicly stated that part of the long length between Bethesda Game Studios games was a direct result of the effort that went into overhauling the Creation Engine taking longer than expected. The Creation Engine might not be the prettiest engine, but its improvements to overhaul the animation system, the incorporation of photogrammetry, upgrades to its procedural generation system, among many other hopeful additions, are big leaps forwards that will ideally pay off. Even if a lot of its improvements are behind the scenes, things that aren't necessarily noticeable by players directly, the idea that a new engine wasn't just wanted, but needed to make this entirely new experience work is exciting on its own. But more thrilling for fans might be the capability of mods. Number 3 is indeed the modding scene for Starfield. Bethesda to this date is still the only studio to be able to fully incorporate console mods, a massive achievement and a huge step forward in supporting fans' creations. With Starfield, literally, the sky is not the limit. We've seen incredible creations from modders in the past that will not only improve and build upon some of the outstanding aspects of Bethesda games, but elevate them to entirely new levels most of us won't think possible. Some have created entire games like Enderall for Skyrim, other massive projects like Skyblivion, mods like Sim Settlements which overhaul the entirety of the settlement system in Fallout 4 into ultimately what is a must-have addition for fans of the settlement system. The use of the Creation Engine 2 means that modders will remain familiar with the tools at their disposal, which is an advantage. Moddability is at the core of almost every modern Bethesda experience, and is why games like Skyrim last as long as they do, and Bethesda knows this, and has pledged to continue to support the modding community. With Starfield, fans are eagerly anticipating what might be possible with entire planets at a modder's disposal. The fact is that now mods are not just limited to PC, but console users can also enjoy is monumental in its own, and it will lead to amazing experiences as to what the community can build together. Number 4 on this list is the Bethesda Game Studios pedigree. Bethesda Game Studios, not talking about Bethesda Softworks published titles, but Bethesda Game Studios specifically, is in an interesting position over the last couple years. Fallout 4 took some daring chances with its voiced protagonists and its shift away from some of the big RPG features that fans love about Bethesda games. And Fallout 76, whilst most fans and gamers have come around understanding that it was largely a side project that has since improved after its initial inception, it's still recognized as a black sheep as far as Bethesda Game Studios releases go. But Todd Howard is back at the helm again for Starfield, with claims that it's bringing back everything that people have loved about past games or evolving them for the modern era. It's impossible to deny when talking about Bethesda Game Studios the impact that past releases have had not just on the community at large, but on the gaming industry as a whole. Winner of multiple Game of the Year awards, Bethesda Game Studios is one of the most incredible development teams out there, and their history of releases speaks for itself. That doesn't mean that some might not be wary after the studio's past few entries, but between all the reasons we've discussed previously and the ones that we're going to continue, I am wholly confident that Starfield is going to return to the best that Bethesda Game Studios has to offer. Speaking of big returns, that leads us to our last point today, which is the return to RPG roots. Todd Howard has specifically commented how gamers are ready and eager to return to some of the more hardcore RPG mechanics that Bethesda used to feature more prominently. One of the best parts of a Bethesda game for most people is being able to get lost in these worlds that are created with your character. The ability to be who you want, do what you want, and play how you want. A deep RPG system allows for that fantasy of being a space pirate, a smuggler, a lawman, a bounty hunter, scientist, whatever role you want to play as within their universe can become a reality. The announcement of the trait system that allows you to have unique characteristics that can be different for every character you play as. The improvement to companions and their relationships with the player to become more complex that has been teased. The NPC interactivity with the player and the world around them. And of course the hybridization of the best elements of Bethesda's past leveling systems. This doesn't even include the other areas of customization, from building entire outposts and changes that have been made there, to the weapon and armor customization which is improved exponentially. All of this builds towards having a more in-depth role-playing experience that feels personalized to you, the player. Every single journey into Starfield, every experience, every interaction can feel different depending on the type of character that you are role-playing as in any given playthrough, and that's truly one of the most incredible things about a Bethesda game, and why people still to this day enjoy Skyrim, Fallout 4, Fallout 3, Oblivion, 11 plus years later. Starfield is going to mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and not everyone has to like the final product. That's completely okay. But one thing is for certain, excited or not, it's an indisputable fact that the team at Bethesda are putting their hearts and souls into this project. We've seen it time and time again, and as I said before, we've never, in my recent memory, have seen Bethesda talk about a game the way they have Starfield. Whether it pans out that way, for better or for worse, is yet to be seen when we finally get to play Starfield for ourselves. But even so, I'm eager to see exactly what the team has been building towards for all these years. I'm eager to unleash the potential of the Creation Engine 2. Starfield is a game that I, and many others, want to lose ourselves in for years to come. And it won't be much longer until we can.